don't know how to do this, but close that and then view or gallery. All right. So it looks like we're all on. Cool. Leroy, it's all yours, bro.
Hey, how's everybody doing? I hope fine and in the best of health and spirits. It would be nice to see everybody on video.
There's a lot of folks driving and everything, but just to kind of tee you up a little bit, just kind of share a little bit of your background and kind of how you joined the program, kind of what you're doing, and then kind of how your week's been.
Um, well, if you were on Facebook, you noticed that I put on a picture. I was number one with 87 recruits, and I put that picture on thanking Mr. Johnson for the program because the program was a big part of that. All of the leads that I got, not only did I turn them into appointments, I recruited the people to come work for my company. So in light of all of that, I became the number one recruiter in the entire company. So I was asked to come to Atlanta to speak at a financial conference. And I issued the challenge to everybody out there. Anybody can be number one at whatever they do, but there can only be one. So I issued that challenge, and I'm assuming some people took it on. But so far this week, I have like 20 appointments. I had 7 today. I got 6 tomorrow, and it's not stopping because I have appointments for Saturday. I have appointments for next week, but I'm big on the IUL, and that has been my bread and butter for as long as I've been in the finance business. I know some of you are doing final expenses. I don't know how many of you are doing the IULs, but I love the IULs because it does so much for so many people, and there's so much information out there that people just really don't know. But I don't go into a lead trying to sell them anything. My only goal is to educate them. Now, after I educate them, whichever happens after that is a bonus. My only goal is to educate because I want you to know what's out there. I want you to know what's feasible for you depending on wherever the client goals are. Now, I notice on Facebook there's a lot of people that when they come into the program, the first thing they notice is, hey, I called a couple of leads and it didn't go through. And I called a few people and they say they didn't click this or they have no idea what this is. Yeah, you're going to get a couple of those, but don't pay that no mind because more leads are going to constantly come. And it's just Facebook feeling out what it's looking for you. You just got a couple that might have got through the cracks. Okay, it didn't pan out to be anything, so move on to the next. And that's all I do. When my leads come in, I call those leads as soon as they come in. I don't know if any of you do that. Some people like to wait before they call their leads. I don't do that. As soon as that lead hit my phone or as soon as that lead hit my calendar, I'm calling them because no sooner than they hit that button, that information comes to you. That means they're either doing one or two things. They're still in front of that computer or they got their cell phone in their hand. So I'm calling right away. So when they answer, first thing I say, hey, I'm calling in response to you wanted to know more about how to build wealth or whatever the case may be as far as your ad is concerned. And then there's no way they can possibly say, well, that is not what I wanted to do. Well, how is it possible? Because I have your email, I have your zip code, I have your phone number, I have all the information. So how are you going to tell me you didn't do that? Oh, you're talking about that. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. So once you go into that and I get that information, I set up that appointment. Once I get you back on that appointment, you lock, stock, and barrel. So Again, I'm going into the mindset of just educating. I'm not trying to sell you anything. The goal is to educate. Now, we got a lot of people on this call. I really don't know how you do things, but this is just telling you my aspect. If you don't have a compassion for helping the client is going to see that. And if they see that, they're going to assume that you're just trying to sell them something or you're just trying to get money. And every meeting that I do is strictly through Zoom. But I never talk to them about selling them anything. I never talk to them about the IUL until after I find out whatever the goal the client is or whatever the client is trying to accomplish. And I'll give you some tips that you might can use. One question that I always ask the client before I even start anything with the client is to tell me about yourself. That is an icebreaker. And you asking them that, I've never met a person that didn't like talking about themselves. That is 24/7. I don't care what it is. They may be having a bad day, may have some family issues, but if you say, tell me about you, they will gladly open up. Now, you may get a question, what is it you want to know? When I get that question, I say, I want you to tell me whatever you feel comfortable in telling me. And when you say that, that just opens up the floodgates. And the person just goes on and on and on and on and on about everything about themselves. And all you do is just sit and listen. Because one thing I know a lot of agents don't do, they don't listen. If you're telling the person what you think they should have, then you're not listening to the client. The goal is to listen to the client. After the client finished telling you their life story, my second question to them is, what are your goals financially? Then they're going to tell you whatever their financial goals are, or even if they have any. They're going to give you an idea of what they're trying to accomplish. Once they do that, then my third question to them is, what steps have you taken to accomplish your financial goals? Those three questions alone should lead you in any direction you need to go to take care of that client. So all of the leads that you're getting, all of the people that you're calling, one thing I hope you're not doing, you're not waiting to the last minute to call these people once you get a lead. Because when I get up in the morning, I am sitting in front of my computer. I already have everything mapped out that I'm going to do. Every lead that I have that comes up on my calendar, I already see the times that these people, we supposed to get together, whatever the case may be. One, I send them an email an hour prior to the time we supposed to meet up. Then 30 minutes before the meeting, I'll send a text. Why do I not call? Because one, they're not going to recognize your number, but they will answer a text. Because a text, 9 out of 10 got some information that they want to read about. It may not be what they read, but they're going to read your text. Then when they see your text and they see, okay, well, my meeting is in about 30 minutes, they'll hop right on. And then you go from there. Those three questions that I gave you is what I've been doing since I've been in this business. And it has never failed me. All I needed was the leads. Coming into Mr. Arturo's program, I got the leads now. I got the people now. I got the recruits now. So I'm good. I'm good. Everything is
Awesome.
great. So
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. So can you back up a little bit? Because there was two things I wanted you to kind of expound on. The mindset of, the leads coming in and just, making the best of every opportunity that you have with those leads and not just sitting back with that, right? And, the SW process, right? Which, some will, some won't, so what, who's next, right? It's just kind of doing that. What's your mindset every single day when preparing to get to work, and how you're approaching appointments or leads, going through people, not picking up or whatever? How are you managing that every single day?
if I have a lead that I call and it's either a wrong number or a bad email, I go to the next. If I call that person, I get a voicemail. Then the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna wait a little bit before I recall them. But I'm going to call that number back. I'll just put that down as I got a voicemail, and then I'll go to the next lead. I don't wait on no leads. I know some people just like to let the leads come in and let them pile up and then sit down and pick a day to make your calls. I don't do that. As soon as that lead come in, I am calling or emailing or texting that lead right off the bat. My mindset going in and getting up to when I come in front of my computer, my mindset is every person that I talk to today, I'm educating. Anything that I get out of that is a bonus. Because I never go into a lead thinking I'm going to get a policy out of it or get a recruit out of it. I'm only going into that to educate them on finance because it's a lot that they do not know.
Right. And
That is my
that's
mindset.
powerful. Yeah. So I want to slow down because that's very important. Because I don't know if anybody's even watched the script part of it, but I always say in there, releasing all attachment to the sale because people can sense that, right? And it's very important for you all to know that those things transfer, right? And if when you come in with those things with an angle, it comes off. You know, Humans have this innate ability, which is the intuition, which makes us the top of the food chain, that we can just, some things we just feel it, we just know. And when Leroy is speaking with people, if he's just generally willing to educate people, he's coming from a place of service to give. It's hard to resist that because he's coming to give something, right? So naturally, giving starts the receiving process. I never forget that. Giving starts the receiving process. So y'all might want to write that down, okay? And so that is important because when you come with value, you come to the table with something and you bring in something, education. Sometimes people have never had these conversations before in their life. It's the first time, and you may be the only one to ever have a conversation with them like that. But also, there's a saying that I use that people don't break up with good relationships. And if you build your business off making good relationships, most people have, how you have those people where you talk to them and, family members or other friends that, you feel guilty not picking up the phone, but as soon as you get done, you feel drained, right? A lot of people have those relationships. They don't have people coming to them, lifting them up, educating them, giving them something, build them up. And when they do have those, they hold on to them. So if Leroy's coming in and that's the first thing he's trying to do is, I want to just educate this person. I want to help this person. I want to be curious about learning something about this person, right? When you come from that aspect, people can understand it and they're going to open up to you and give you more, right? And that comes through with your energy. It's what you attract, right?
Yep.
And it brings the walls down, right? Because, it is online, it is over the phone. So you've got to just make sure that, your intentionality is to do that. And so that's great to kind of bring up. Was there anything else you wanted to add to that point?
I'll give you guys 3 things that I read every morning. Here's the first one. Financial struggles is often direct result of people working all their lives for someone else. That's one. Number 2, if you want to be wealthy, the rule of thumb is to teach others to become wealthy.
Yep.
Number 3, the richest people in the world build networks everyone else are trained to learn how to work. So, everybody that's on this call right now, you should have at least 2 or 3 people that you network with. Whether it be me, whether it be Rita, whether it be Pat, whether it be Mr. Johnson, anybody, you should have at least people that you network with on a regular basis. And these are the 3 things that I read every morning when I get up and I sit down and do my job, because my only goal is to teach people about finance because they do not know.
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat those 3 things one more time, please?
Number 1, financial struggles is often the direct result of people working all their lives for someone else. Number two, if you want to be rich, if you want to be wealthy, the rule of thumb is to teach other people to become wealthy. And the last one, the richest people in the world build networks. Everyone else is trained to look for work.
Awesome. And so, with that being said, there's multiple opportunities when you get to reach out and talk to more people, because that's what the system does. It allows you to talk to more people that you normally wouldn't get the chance to talk to. It expands your network, but also people are seeing your face going out there, right? Even if they don't click the first time. I mean, how many times did you see my ads, right? Come through. It just comes through. Those people are getting impressions from you, right? So then you talk to people, that network effect comes into play. Leroy, can you kind of, I want to transition, because there may be some people on this call that are, maybe trying to build their business as well, right? And so, they may just be thinking about going down this one path with them, but also this may spark an idea for them on how to approach people that it may not be the right fit for them financially, but it may be, fiscally or opportunity for them, to escape the 9 to 5 or whatever it is. But how are you approaching that, and what's kind of your philosophy when going into things like that?
One thing you can keep in mind, 85% of people in the United States hate what they do. Think about that. 85% of the people in the United States hate what they do. And they're only there because they know they have to pay bills. So when I'm approaching a person and I'm sitting there talking to them about just general finances, and you see the look on their face like, why didn't I know about this? Or no one ever brought this to my attention. Here's a question I have for all of you. For all of you that are out there selling whatever it is that you're selling, whether it be final expense, whether it be IULs, whether it be annuities, so on and so forth. How would you sell your product to yourself? That's something to think about. If you are sitting in front of you, how would you sell your product to yourself? And how would you approach yourself on trying to deliver that product to yourself? That's something to think about. Because if you're not confident in everything that you're claiming you're doing for the client, why would the client take anything from you? If you don't believe in whatever it is that you're doing, why should the client believe in everything that you're doing? You have to have that patience. Just like he said, if you don't have that compassion for helping the client is going to see that. Especially today, with everything that's going on. If you're coming sideways, the client is going to see that. That's why I never talk about my product at all until I know exactly what the client wants. And my only goal is to get the client to a better place than they are before they met me.
Gotcha. And so at what point do you transition into, or how do you transition into, asking them about an opportunity?
Well, once I ask those 3 questions, and you're pretty much going to get all the information that you need after that, I do this thing called a financial needs analysis, where I sit down and I go over 3 things as far as finances. And I sit down with the client. Now, I always ask, would you be okay with me doing a financial needs analysis with you? And then I tell them exactly what I'm covering. If they say yes, then I'll sit down with them and we'll go through their debt, we'll go through their cash flow, we'll go through everything that has to do with finances. What bills are they paying? How much they paying for groceries? How often do they go out to eat? Every aspect of that. And then I'll say to them, okay, I heard what you said your goals were. how much money on a regular basis can you put to your goal, something that you can clearly do. And then I based everything for the client based on what they can clearly do. Because if you set something, if you think a client, you're looking at what they make a year, and you assume that, okay, I know this client can afford this much because this is what they're making. But nobody knows what exactly the client is doing with their money. So that's why you have to ask those questions. Because there may be certain points that you can help that client save a little bit more money because they may be spending money they don't even realize that they're spending. So once the client tell me what they can clearly do, then I set up a plan for the client that's going to fit their budget. Because if you don't and you do more than what you think the client can do, the first thing that's going to happen when they need money is they're going to cancel the insurance. That's first and foremost. It's the first thing that goes. I don't really need this right now, so I'm going to cancel it. So you always have to cater to the client. Not only will that make the client happy that you looked out for them, it would also make the client send you other people. And this only builds your business.
Awesome. So, is there any language that you use with regards to, asking people about an opportunity, or how do you kind of transition into, what are you saying as far as that? Have they thought about this or what with regards to recruiting?
When I recruit a person, I'll give them the opportunity. I'll ask them how they feel about their job. Where you are currently working. Okay, if I can give you an opportunity to earn an additional $5,000, would you be open to that? And 9 out of 10, I always get, oh, yeah. You can do this part-time. I'll train you to become a financial professional. But here's the thing, you have to become state certified. You just can't do this on a whim. You have to become state certified. And if I can show you to do this, and I train you to get to a point where you can do this on a regular basis and just do it part-time to see how you like it, would you be open to that? I haven't had a person tell me no yet.
Right. And it's pretty, and so that just sounds like it's pretty direct, right? It's just like
Yeah.
straight shooter, which is like, that's important. Because I was just thinking like, that's simple. Because it's just a direct question. Are you happy with what you're currently doing? And it either yes or no. If they say, yeah, I'm happy, then you just kind of move on. But if they're not, then that's when you ask the question. So you're just asking two questions pretty much, right?
That's it.
And I think that's so amazing, because I think that sometimes, just going at the lead thing is good, but then sometimes it's like, well, you're thinking like, I want to educate, but also I can leave this person different than when I found them, right? Either helping them protect their family or giving them hope with a different opportunity, because that's what, everybody needs. Everybody on this call would needed something as well, right? They were at this point and they were just like, I just need to get in front of more people. Well, sometimes people just need, right, something to help them sleep well at night, or they need a peace of mind for a new opportunity that could change everything for them. And Durwood's on here. I know that him and I had a good conversation, and he wanted to quit, right? And just me and him had a one-on-one, and I was like, man, I think that if you just trust me and just stick around a little bit, right, then this will kind of turn around. And I think someone said that you were having a pretty good month so far, right, Durwood? Yeah, so he's doing pretty good, and had he not stuck around, had the opportunity. So you never know. So that's a great opportunity, and really just building your network and relationships. So that's pretty cool to hear. Final thoughts. Is there anything else that you just like to share with the group? I know I asked you to come on to kind of just speak to the group, because I know usually we do these calls like this, but I know that you had this awesome weekend. And I'm sure that just fired you up to do even more, just to get back to it, to grind it even more, because now you're the target. Everybody's trying to come beat you. So you got to stay sharp and stay on top.
Always. One thing I always tell people, when you go in front of clients, be yourself. Don't try to be this super agent. Don't try to deviate from anything that you do that got you to where you are. Be yourself. When I come onto a call and I'm dressed like this, and people look at me and they wonder if they're on the right call. And I'll tell them, well, I had a suit on, but I wanted to get comfortable. So I threw on a sweatsuit. I hope you don't mind. I always ask the client, I hope you don't mind because I don't want to throw you off. And they'll say, oh, yeah, no problem. Cool. Okay. Now that you're comfortable with me looking the way I'm looking and I'm comfortable, okay, let's get into it. And that's when I go into my questions because you always want the client to be comfortable. And yeah, I had a great week. I'll be the first to tell you I had an off the week. It was off the chain. Just yesterday, and I'll go ahead and bring this up for you, AJ. I had a client that was a lead that came in. The person was 20 years old. He was Vietnamese. He owns a chain of nail and spa shops. 20 years old. I talked to him. I called him. And the first question I asked him when he was telling me about what he had, do you have any protection on your companies? He said, no. Why? So my next question to him was, okay, if you drop dead today, who takes over your companies? He said, I never thought of that. Nobody. I said, I'm going to tell you who's going to take it over, the state. And he's from Georgia. Alpharetta, Georgia. That's where he's from. And he said, the state? I said, oh, yeah, the state is going to take it. And they're going to find your next of kin. And then they're going to decide how to deviate your chain of stores. Oh, I can't let that happen. I say, well, let me help you. So we went into the question. He told me everything about his life. He came to the States at 18. And his biggest thing was once he got his stuff going and his company going, he don't ever want to be in debt. So I brung up to him about the IUL. This is what the IUL can do for you. How much a month can you do? Clearly, he said $5,000. So I set him up a policy, a $12 million policy to be exact. The policy is $12,892,492. He pays $5,000 a month. I made $38,000 off of that one policy. And it was only an hour of work. Moving on to the next.
Well, here's the thing though, because this is important. The compensation is a trailer of the effort that you put in, right? So all the work that he's been doing up to this has been more valuable than what he's gotten compensated for, right? Because he is doing this, and so his reward has been the effort of the work that he's done, and that's how it tends to happen. So I'm glad you shared that, but I just want to put in perspective of like it's the intentionality of the good work that he does every single day. His intentionality is what attracted this person to him, right? 20 years old. Not saying, oh, this 20-year-old doesn't have money and this and that. He didn't go in it pre-framed, oh, too young, too old, too this, too that, because everybody does that, right? But the thing is you don't know anybody's situation. So instead, he took the conversation and it turned out to be a really good one. So congratulations to you. What does that put you at for the month for production?
For the month, I think I'm close to about 70.
Okay.
About
Awesome.
70.
Awesome. So
My
that's
goal is
great.
100. So
You got a couple days.
yeah, I still got a good week. I got a
Mhm.
good week. So
Awesome.
I ain't done yet.
Yeah, but again, it's really the opportunity, right?
That's
So
it.
everybody's got the same exact opportunity that he has in the program. Everybody's got the same system, haven't changing the mindset and the energy to focus and be client facing. And he said something else about being yourself. And I know if you followed me a little bit before I joined, I used to have on a suit too. I used to stand up there and be all stuffy. And then I was like, you know what? I want to attract people just like me. Right, Patrick? Remember that? Patrick's been following me for a long time. Right. I used to have a bunch of suit on and stuffy and all of this. And I was like, you know what? I want to attract people that would see me. And if we were on a plane together, we would sit there and talk and have a good old time flying across the ocean, and it would be good. And guess what? If y'all look around, if any one of us have had a good conversation, y'all already know how that's been. And if we haven't, we will. But y'all know that it's just an authentic, good conversation. So that's what makes this group this way. And so being your authentic self is definitely there. So like 3 things that I've taken from what you've said is, coming in with the right mindset, right? Looking to serve first, right? And taking advantage of every opportunity that you get to educate people, right? And maybe the most important one is probably doing what's in their best interest, finding out from them what they need, right? And then seeing if you can help them with that.
Here's what I want everybody to write down. And this is what's on my wall. Mission before commission. Always. Mission before commission. Where I get that from? The military. It's a military mindset. Mission before commission. Your mission is to help that client get where they need to be. Your bonus is once you complete that and you've taken care of that client, your commission will come.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, Leroy, man, thank you so much for hopping on. You definitely inspired a lot of people in the group.